Hi, I'm Carrie Sherburne, Senior Editor with Think, and I'm pleased to be here with Walter Isaacson, who is the President and CEO of the Aspen Institute, a nonpartisan educational and policy studies institution based in Washington, D.C. And he's been Chairman and CEO of CNN, which is one of my favorite places to watch, and Time Magazine, right? Also, for our viewers here, the author, obviously, of the seminal biography on Steve Jobs, and his latest book, The Innovators. And we're going to spend some time talking today about the innovators.
Great, thank you, Karen.
So you said earlier this morning in your speech at Digital Book World, you indicated that you started this actually in 1993 and it was published in October of this year. So why was that lengthy?
Well, I was doing some other things, and Steve Jobs called me after I'd done Ben Franklin and Albert Einstein and said, why don't you do me next? And my first reaction is, yeah, you know, Franklin, Einstein, you.
Jobs,
but then I realized, you know, what a seminal, important person he had been in innovation. So I put it aside, but one of the things I learned from writing about Steve Jobs is it's not just the lone genius sitting in the garage, you know, where he, you know, his family garage, creating things. It's about teams, it's about collaboration. If you look at how the internet was invented, how the computers were invented, how even personal computers, how even Apple was invented, it was not individual and loners. It was people who knew how to create teams, as Steve Jobs did. Near the end of his life, I asked him, what product were you most proud of? And I thought he'd say the you know, original Macintosh or maybe the iPod. And he said, no, making products is hard, but what's more important is making a team that will continue to make great products. Teams of designers and engineers and visionaries, as well as people who can execute. And to me, the greatest thing I ever created was Apple, the company, because that was a team that will continue to innovate.
That's fascinating. And you know, another person in that whole historical perspective that I was really happy to see featured in the book is Doug Engelbart.
Yeah, you know, he comes up with most of the elements of what we call a personal computer today, the mouse, the graphical user interface. But there's something more important than that, which is he's the person, along with Alan Kay and, you know, Vannevar Bush, but many others, who say it's not about creating big computers that'll think without us. It's about creating, J.C.R. Licklider is another in the innovators who does this, it's about creating a close connection between humans and machines. A symbiosis almost, where we can collaborate, we can interact, us and our machines. And so that's what the mouse is all about. That's what that graphical screen is all about, is making it so we have a tight partnership with our machine instead of having the machine off in some room somewhere else thinking without us.
And now it's swiping and pinching, right?
Right, absolutely. And as soon as our watches are slapping our eyeglasses, you know, whether it's Google Glass or Apple Watch, you see the trajectory continuing, which is make it more personal, make it more connected with us. I mean, what could be more connected than something right into our eyeball or something right on our wrist? And so that's the whole trajectory, not the artificial intelligence, robots that'll be off doing things without us. That's not proved that successful. But what has proved successful is making ever more intimate the connection of us with our computing machines.
And you know, when you think about innovation, you know, like you said, a lot of times we think it's an individual, but really it's a collaborative process. But how, as a leader, can you foster a culture of innovation in your organization?
I think it's really difficult in big organizations which get siloed into divisions, and the divisions are kind of protective of their own turf. That's what happened when Sony, which had done the Walkman, you know, it could have had the iPod, you know, buy a song, 99 cents, you know, make it easy. But they had a music division. The music division didn't want to have its albums broken up or its music sort of business model disrupted. And so it was hard for Sony to innovate. Likewise, it was hard for Xerox to innovate when at Xerox PARC they were doing the stuff that Doug Engelbart had invented and Alan Kay was taking forward. You know, Xerox just didn't make a really good personal computer. And you see that over and over again where, you know, Bell Labs makes a transistor but doesn't get into it. So I think to create a culture of innovation, you have to be willing to disrupt yourself, cannibalize yourself. As Steve Jobs said when he did the iPod and then decided he wanted to make an iPhone with music, they said, well, that'll cannibalize the iPod. He said, well, if we don't cannibalize ourselves, somebody else will eat our lunch.
You know, I think that's a really important message, especially for the printing industry. You know, they're under so much pressure right now from digital media, and that's an important concept.
Sometimes it's important too to think, well, I'm not just in the railway business, I'm in the
Right.
transportation business.
Right.
That's easy to say. Look, I was in the magazine business. I didn't make the transition as fast as we thought we should have. But you have to sometimes say, what business are we really in, and how can we be part of the next wave of that business?
And what are our customers looking for in the future? You know, so I would really strongly encourage our audience to get that book. Either
you so
put it
very
on your
much. Thank
Kindle
you.
or your iPad, or buy the hard copy, or buy the paperback.